I want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as your mama dead as so tell your dead mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mama. What's wrong with you?
After 50 Cent dropped that shady picture of T's wife on Instagram, King Harris fired back in the wildest way possible. He didn't just clap back, he went for the throat.
Posting my mama, legend, your mama.
King posted a photo of 50's mom's grave and wrote that he should go dig her up. That crossed a serious line. Everyone knew 50 Cent wasn't the type to let something like that slide. And now he's coming full force at King Harris. Things are spiraling fast and it's getting real messy out here.
Posting my mama like your mama ain't dead as go put some flowers on that grave.
Rewind to how this whole storm started. On February 22, 2026, 50 Cent decided to hop on Instagram and upload a photo of Tiny Harris performing on stage. The picture wasn't flattering at all. The angle was terrible, the lighting made it look rough, and it seemed like he picked that shot on purpose just to embarrass her. Knowing how 50 moves online, it's hard to think it was anything but intentional. And here's the kicker. He didn't toss it up on his story where it would disappear in 24 hours. Nope. He posted it right on his main feed, bold and permanent where millions could see it.
Bonded by disrespecting T.I.'s family, more specifically T.I.'s wife, Tiny. 50 took to Instagram and posted a not so flattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tiny.
Comment on it and keep it alive. His caption said, "I keep saying, keep my name out your mouth." No tags, no long. Everyone instantly knew who that was aimed at.
She looks like, in a bad angle and her body looks a little off. It's like a bad angle.
Tiny hadn't even said a single word about 50 Cent. She wasn't talking about him on podcast, not dropping his name in interviews, not even lurking in comment sections. She was completely uninvolved. This wasn't about her. It was 50's way of getting under T.I.'s skin because of their back and forth about the versus battles. Petty doesn't even begin to describe it. Now, people need to remember Tiny Harris isn't just T's wife. She's music royalty. She's one of the founding members of Escape, the R&B group that owned the 90s with hits like Just Kicking It and Who Can I Run To.
He posts a picture of Tiny, and he says, "I keep saying keep my name out your mouth," and puts up like a shrug emoji and says, "Oh."
Tiny's been putting in work for decades. She's built her own empire with music, TV, and business ventures. She's got a name, a career, and respect in the industry. Yet, 50 Cent tried to reduce all that to one unflattering picture just to take a jab at her husband. And then there was that shrug emoji he added at the end. That little emoji was like the ultimate insult. It said, "No big deal." While he threw gasoline on the fire, like posting another man's wife to his 30 million followers was nothing. That's cold. But the internet doesn't sleep, and neither does King Harris. Within hours, he saw the post and wasn't about to let that slide. The 21-year-old didn't come back with no slick meme or cryptic message. Nah, he went straight for the kill shot.
Dig up. Go dig up. Post a picture of your mama. She dead. Pay respect.
Short, bold, and brutal. King Harris didn't hold back for a second. He jumped straight into the comments under 50's post and dropped the line, "Where your mama?" with the eyes emoji. That one sentence hit different. If you know 50 Cent's past, you already understand why that cut deep. His mother, Sabrina Jackson, was tragically murdered back in 1983 when he was just 8 years old. It's one of the most painful parts of his story, and King threw it right into the public eye for millions to see in the comments section.
We were moving around in LA, man, selling some TV shows while we were around each other, man, you know what I mean? I said, "What you think about this?"
But he didn't stop there. King doubled down and took it to a whole new level. He went to his own Instagram and posted an actual picture of Sabrina Jackson's headstone, 50's mom's real grave. You could clearly see her name, her birth year 1958, and her passing year 1983.
Okay, so first, it was really about celebrating each other's catalog. Me and then talk back.
It was personal and everyone knew it. Then King tagged 50 directly in the post and wrote, "Yo, dig up your mama." Another version of his caption said, "This where your mama at." That wasn't trolling anymore. That was straight up disrespect. Then he took it even further. King hopped in his car, hit record, and started spitting fire on his Instagram stories. No script, no filter, no calm, just raw emotion. It was wild. Across multiple stories, he kept that same energy. He circled back to that same grave photo, reposted it again, and this time added the caption, "Hey, 50 Cent, this where your mama at?" It was like he was determined to push every single button possible. The internet couldn't believe it.
I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll.
Fans and celebrities were in shock watching it unfold in real time. At that point, the line had officially been crossed. 50 had posted Tiny's picture, and King responded by posting a photo of 50's late mother's grave, then told him to dig her up. That's one of the most ruthless exchanges the culture's seen in a long time. A man losing his mom at 8 years old is already tragic enough. And to throw that pain in his face like that, it wasn't just disrespectful, it was cruel. King's rant even included a moment where he shouted, "Man, pull up my mama. Mama, mama, legend, your mama." It sounded more like rage mixed with hurt, but it came off like a direct attack. That's when everybody realized this wasn't internet trolling anymore. This was personal. Deeply personal. What's crazy is that all this chaos came from something that was supposed to be about music. A simple versus battle that never even happened. The whole foundation of this beef goes back to a conversation between T.I. and 50 Cent out in LA. According to T.I., both of them were in LA at the time, hustling in the TV and film space, running into each other in the same circles. Somebody brought up the idea of a versus and T.I. said they actually sat down, chopped it up face to face and agreed on how it would go down. But after that, 50 Cent allegedly ghosted him, completely disappeared like the whole conversation never existed. T later told the whole story on $1 Million Worth of Game with Jilly the King and Wallow 267, laying it all out from start to finish. It's wild to think a simple hip-hop discussion about hits and legacy ended up turning into one of the nastiest feuds the internet's seen in years.
She got killed when I was like 8 years old.
So when you say hustling, she was involved with what? She was...
Yeah, selling drugs.
Selling drugs.
At two Southern rap legends standing tall celebrating their catalogs, their legacies in the art of hip-hop, no dramas, no sneak disses, just hit records and mutual respect. T.I. explained that while both of them were out in LA hustling, pitching shows, linking with XX and handling business, they started chopping it up about doing a versus. According to him, 50 was rocking with it at first. They mapped out a whole game plan. The move was simple. T.I. would go public first, call 50 out for a versus, and then 50 would co-sign it in the comments or online to make it official. That was the play, clean and smooth. So, T.I. followed through like a man of his word. He went on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp, dropped 50's name into the versus conversation, and made it clear he wanted that smoke. He said straight up that he was ready for the challenge, but he felt like 50 was ducking it. The energy was competitive, not shady. It was supposed to be about music, not mess. But when T stepped up first, exactly like they agreed, 50 switched up. He left T out there solo, acting like the whole conversation never happened. He brushed it off like T was just another rapper clout chasing for attention. That's when the whole vibe flipped. T wasn't even mad about verses anymore. He was mad about character. For T, it became deeper than music. It was about respect and integrity. If 50 didn't want to do the battle, that was fine. Just say that. But don't smile in private and then play dumb in public. That two-faced move hit T.I. hard. You could hear it in his tone when he talked about it.
Hold on the pressure, I apply on the pressure.
that boy quick on his feet, ain't he?
Yeah, I'm the more, as he was saying, I'm him when he made his most.
Started as friendly competition turned into straight-up disappointment. T said it himself. He went from wanting to share the stage with 50 to not wanting anything to do with him. Not as collaborators, not even as two men standing in the same room. That was a powerful statement that spread across social media and hip-hop blogs for weeks. Everyone was talking about it. But from 50's side, the story looked totally different. 50 wasn't just ignoring T.I. for no reason. He had already been brushing off the whole versus idea for years. He made it clear that the versus wave was a pandemic thing and that he was past that stage. In his mind, he'd moved on to bigger business, TV, film, liquor brands, and major power moves. Music wasn't his focus anymore. He hadn't dropped an album since 2014, and his mindset was all about empire building, not stage battles. So, when T.I. kept bringing him up, 50 did what he always does. He turned to trolling. His responses were short, sharp, and loaded with that signature 50C attitude. He started posting captions like, "Keep my name out your mouth," all over Instagram with a shrug emoji. No long rants, just memes and sarcasm designed to make T.I. look desperate for his attention.
Jumped in the mix. I ain't even mad at him for defending his mom. Now, do I think that this will go to some crazy level of some...
But 50 didn't stop at ignoring him. He started throwing real shade. He began calling T King rat in the comments, hinting at snitching allegations, which is one of the most serious insults you can throw at someone in hip-hop. That took it to another level. T wasn't having it. He clapped back immediately, firing off a post that said, "You playing with my name when only one of us are rat in real life. You know I got your paperwork, right?" Then he challenged 50 again. Either step into the versus ring or pipe down. By the time February 22nd rolled around, the tension was boiling over. What started as a friendly idea about celebrating music had officially transformed into one of the ugliest and most personal feuds in recent hip-hop history. The tension between T.I. and 50 had been simmering for weeks. Podcast shots, comment section jabs, and sneaky supplementals flying back and forth non-stop. What started as a friendly versus idea meant to celebrate two legends had now turned into a full-blown feud so messy it ended up pulling in family members who had nothing to do with any of it. That's when things took a darker turn. Especially once King Harris brought 50's late mother Sabrina Jackson into the mix. To really understand why King's move hit the culture so hard and why so many people in hip-hop collectively wenched when they saw it, you've got to know who Sabrina Jackson was and what she went through. This wasn't just the story of a rapper's mom who passed peacefully or lived a long, quiet life. Sabrina's story was heartbreaking, real, and rooted in pain that never got closure. Sabrina Jackson was born around 1958 in South Jamaica, Queens, one of the toughest neighborhoods in New York City at the time. She gave birth to Curtis Jackson, the boy who'd one day become 50 Cent when he was just 15 years old. A kid raising a kid right in the middle of chaos, trying to survive in a world that didn't care. From the start, she was doing it all alone. No partner, no support system, just a teenage girl grinding to keep food on the table and a roof over their head. Every day was a fight to survive, and that struggle shaped everything about the man 50 Cent would eventually become.
I think that, that is more of a way for them to check him on the space of like how you carry yourself versus how this carries himself. Now, we all could agree, let's keep it 1,000. That shit 50 did.
Sabrina Jackson eventually got caught up in the street game that ruled her neighborhood. This was South Jamaica, Queens, zero ground during the early crack era that hit New York hard in the late 70s and early 80s. For a teenage single mom living in poverty, options were basically non-existent. The system wasn't set up to help her, so she turned to the only thing that paid, the hustle. In that environment, survival meant playing the game the streets demanded. 50 Cent has spoken about his mother many times over the years, and every story he's told paints the same powerful image. Sabrina was fearless, hard as steel, no nonsense, no pity. She ran her house like she ran a block with respect, discipline, and zero room for weakness. To her, tough love was the only kind of love there was. In 50's own words, his mom was both his mother and his father. He's even shared a wild story about how Sabrina once stuffed toys into socks to make makeshift weapons for him to take the school fights just to make sure he could defend himself. She wanted him to be strong, not scared. Another story he's told came from when he was crying on the floor as a little boy and Sabrina told him straight up to get up and stop acting like a little girl. That might sound harsh, but for her that was love. It was protection, the only way she knew how to give it. Then tragedy struck. In 1983, Sabrina Jackson was killed. She was only about 24 or 25 years old. Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, was just 8. The way she died was brutal and still unsolved after more than 40 decades. According to 50's own retellings across interviews, somebody slipped something into her drink one night inside her apartment, knocking her cold out. Then they turned on the gas and left it running. The combination of fumes and fire took her life. When police arrived and assessed the scene, they immediately ruled it as a likely homicide. There was no question something foul had gone down. The gas lines have been tampered with and the setup looked intentional. But here's the chilling part. No one was ever arrested. No suspects were named. No motive ever came out. The entire case went cold and stayed that way. For more than 40 years, there's been no police report made public, no coroner's findings, and no follow-up investigation anyone's ever seen. Everything people know about Sabrina Jackson's death comes directly from 50 Cent himself, pieced together through interviews he's done since the early 2000s. After Sabrina's death, young Curtis was taken in by his grandparents, Bob Jackson, and his husband, who raised him in a small home right there in South Jamaica. The house was crowded, packed with around 8 relatives, all trying to make ends meet. His biological father had already vanished long before his mom passed, so his grandparents were all he had left. 50 has said in interviews that losing his mother shaped everything about the man he became. Every time life hit him hard, he'd think, if my mother was here, it wouldn't be like this. That pain turned into drive. He even got a tattoo on his right forearm that reads Sabrina with the words Ghetto Angel Inc. beside it. A permanent tribute to the woman who taught him survival before the world forced him to use it. Her death didn't just leave a scar. It built the toughness 50 Cent carries to this day. Sabrina Jackson rested Rockville Cemetery in Lindbrook, Nassau County, New York. The very same grave site King Harris tracked down, photographed, and blasted across Instagram for the entire world to see. That's the headstone he posted tagging 50 Cent and writing that now infamous caption telling him to dig her up. It wasn't just a random disc. It was calculated, shocking, and deeply personal. The internet couldn't believe it. So, why did King Harris go that far? Let's look at who he is. King Harris, whose full name is Clifford King Harris Jr., is 21 years old and the eldest biological son of T and Tiny Harris. Born on August 26, 2004 in Atlanta, Georgia, King grew up in the spotlight from the moment he opened his eyes. His parents aren't just music legends. They built an entire entertainment empire complete with TV shows, tours, and non-stop media attention. This means King has never known what it's like to live a normal life away from cameras, gossip blogs, or public judgment. Every mistake, every outburst, every move he makes gets magnified. So, when the beef between his father and 50 Cent started heating up, King wasn't just watching it unfold. He was right in the middle of it, carrying the weight of his family name on his back. King Harris practically grew up with cameras in his face. From the moment T.I. and Tiny the Family Hustle premiered back in 2011, he's lived his entire childhood under bright lights and microphones. Every family argument, every milestone, every little moment was broadcast to millions. He saw his father navigate rap beefs, handle court cases, close major business deals, and face public criticism. All while the reality TV crew was filming right in their living room. And while all that was happening, he also watched his mother shine as the founding member of Scape, one of the coldest R&B groups of the 90s and the glue that kept the Harris family solid through it all. Growing up in that kind of spotlight shapes you differently. King's been chasing his own lane in music under the name Kid Sane, dropping singles and freestyles that clearly carry the DNA of his upbringing. Slick wordplay, street energy, and confidence in every bar. But even with his talent, the public rarely sees King the artist first. They see T's son. That title follows him everywhere he goes, whether he likes it or not. He's talked openly about what that pressure feels like. How people constantly compare him to his dad. How he can't make a move without someone dissecting it online, and how heavy it can feel trying to live up to a legacy that was built before he was even born. It's not easy being the firstborn of a hip-hop power couple. T.I. himself has said that when he looks at King, he sees the younger version of himself, the one who made all the wrong choices but learned everything the hard way. That reflection cuts deep for a parent. And now that King's a father himself, he's trying to break that cycle. He said in interviews that he wants to raise his son with strength and independence, the same toughness his own parents instilled in him growing up. He's trying to turn his mistakes into lessons for the next generation. So when 50 Cent posted that unflattering photo of Tiny Harris, King's mom, the woman he's called a legend countless times in public, everything inside him erupted. He wasn't thinking about PR strategy or how the internet would react. He didn't call an agent, a manager, or anyone for advice. His emotions took over, plain and simple. To King, that post wasn't just trolling. It was disrespect aimed directly at his family. A grown man with 30 million followers clowning his mom for the world to laugh at. That hit different. The protective son in him snapped instantly. He didn't care about optics or damage control. He cared about defending his mother's name. And honestly, the issue wasn't that King reacted. Any son would react if someone publicly disrespected their mom like that. The problem was how far he took it and how personal he made it. Because once he crossed that line, there was no taking it back and the whole hip-hop world was watching. The real issue wasn't that King Harris reacted. It was how far he took it. Instead of keeping the smoke focused on 50 Cent's character or clapping back about the drama or even just firing off some heated words in the comments, King went somewhere no one expected. He dove straight into the darkest, most painful part of 50's life, the death of his mother. He tracked down Sabrina Jackson's actual grave site and posted it online for millions of people to see. That wasn't trolling anymore. That was hidden below the belt on a level that shocked even hip-hop's toughest critics. King tried to justify himself, saying, "I wasn't raised like that. I don't go by my mama." But that statement came with a thick layer of irony. Because at that exact moment, he was doing the very thing he claimed he'd never do, disrespecting someone's deceased parent. It was like he was standing on moral high ground while sinking need in one of the lowest moves you can make. In hip-hop culture, disrespecting the dead, especially someone's mother, isn't just crossing the line, it's obliterating it. Even artists known for ruthless beefs usually stay away from that kind of territory. It's one of those unspoken rules everybody understands. Some things are just off limits, no matter how bad the beef gets. One YouTuber covering the story put it perfectly. He said he understood King's rage, but predicted there was no way T and Tiny would let that slide behind closed doors. He claimed they'd probably pull King aside privately and set him straight. Because even though his anger was real and maybe even justified, that grave post went too far, way too far. People weren't just debating who was right or wrong, they were stunned by how low it went. What was supposed to be a family defending their honor had now turned into a moral disaster that no PR team could spin clean. Hip-hop's history is full of family drama getting dragged into beefs. Tupac once claimed he slept with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans, on Hit Up. Jay-Z crossed a similar line when he WPP about Nas's baby mother, Carmen Bryan, on Super Ugly. That move was so harsh, Jay's own mom called Hot 97 Live and made him apologize on air. Carmen later revealed how much damage that song caused and how Jay-Z regretted it almost instantly. The pattern's clear. When emotions run hot and family gets involved, people tend to go nuclear only to regret it later. Jay-Z learned that lesson back in 2001. Whether King Harris will learn it in 2026, that's still in the air. While the internet was still reeling from King's grave post, T.I. decided to step into the fire himself. Late February 22nd, rolling into the early hours of the 23rd, he hit the studio and dropped a new diss track, a clear declaration of war. The beat came from DJ Ton, the same producer behind some of T's biggest anthems like What You Know and Bring Them Out. The sound was classic trap, dark, heavy, and defiant. Tits the track on Instagram with the caption, __66A's won't war 8. We own that. Got to write one this time. He even added a duck emoji, his not-so-subtle jab at 50 Cent, calling him out as someone who hides from real confrontation. The preview, just 30 to 60 seconds long, showcased T.I. in full battle mode, sharp bars, confident tone, and that signature Atlanta swagger that made him one of the South's finest. Even though the full lyrics weren't transcribed since it was only a short preview, the message in T's new track was crystal clear. It spoke about loyalty, confrontation, and protecting family at all costs. He never mentioned 50 Cent by name, but everyone knew exactly who he was aiming at. Some people thought the song was already recorded for T's upcoming album and that he just chose the perfect moment to drop it. Others believed it was brand new, something he recorded in the heat of the moment right after seeing his son go off online. Either way, the timing was no accident. Dropping a war-themed record just hours after King posted that grave post was way too coordinated to be random. Hip-hop's reaction split fast. One side praised T.I. for responding like a true MC through music, not social media drama. Diss tracks have always been the purest form of lyrical warfare, turning emotion into art. Pusha T did it with The Story of a Dude On. Kendrick Lamar did it with Meet the Grams. And now T.I. was taking his swing with war. But others saw it differently. Critics argued that instead of calming the fire, T.I. might have made it worse by dropping a disc right after King's viral post. It looked like the Harris family went on an all-out offensive. King attacking the grave and T attacking the MIC. To many, it felt less like discipline and more like doubling down on chaos. In the end, everyone, no matter whose side they were on, could agree on one thing. This whole storm started with 50 Cent. He drew first blood when he posted that shady photo of Tiny Harris dragging T's family into a situation that had originally been all about music. 4 weeks before that post, T kept the energy focused on hits, legacy, and a friendly versus showdown. He talked about catalogs, competition, and respect for the craft. He never took it to a personal level, never mentioned 50's family, his past, or anything that would cross the line. But once that photo hit Instagram, the tone shifted forever. What could have been a celebration of two icons turned into one of the messiest rap feuds of the decade. And that's where things stand for now. The smoke hasn't cleared, the internet's still buzzing, and everyone's waiting to see who fires the next shot. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can catch every twist and turn in this wild hip-hop saga. Stay tuned because this story is far from